My fiancé said I should quit my job to focus on the home while he provided. Then I found the budget spreadsheet labeling me as a dependent expense. I forwarded it to his boss when declining his insurance. Now he's explaining why I resigned and left. I forwarded my fiancé's budget spreadsheet to his boss and now he's telling everyone I quit my job. He left his laptop open last Tuesday. I wasn't snooping, I was looking for the wedding venue contract we'd saved there. Instead I found a file called household_financial_planning_2025.xlsx. The spreadsheet had tabs. Lots of them. Income projections. Retirement accounts. Investment portfolio. And one labeled dependents and expenses. I clicked it. My name was there. Listed under dependent expense with a monthly allocation of $1,200. For personal spending and household maintenance. His dog had a line item of $350 per month. I was worth less than 4 times his golden retriever. There were notes in the margins. Things like reduce discretionary once resignation confirmed and allocate salary difference to investment account. $68,000 annually. My salary. He'd calculated my entire salary as his future investment fund. I sat there staring at it for maybe 20 minutes. We'd had the conversation 3 weeks ago. He'd taken me to this nice restaurant, held my hand across the table, told me he wanted to build a real future together, said he made enough for both of us. That I could finally quit the job I'd been complaining about and focus on making our house a home. I thought it was sweet. Supportive. He knew I'd been burnt out. Turns out he'd been planning it for months. Had projections going out 15 years. Had my entire financial existence mapped out with formulas and conditional formatting. I took screenshots. Sent them to myself. Closed the laptop. When he got home I asked him about it directly. Did you make a spreadsheet about our finances? He smiled. Actually smiled. Yeah, babe, I've been working on our future. Want to see it? I think you'll be excited about how secure we'll be. I already saw it. His face changed. You went through my computer? You left it open. I saw the dependent expense tab. He did this laugh. This small nervous laugh. Okay, I know how that looks, but it's just terminology. Excel default categories. It doesn't mean anything. You calculated my salary as your investment income. Our investment income. For our future. For our kids. You labeled me as a dependent expense and gave me an allowance less than what I spend on groceries. He sat down. Ran his hands through his hair. You're twisting this. I'm trying to take care of you. You said you hated your job. I'm offering you a way out. This is what you wanted. I wanted support. Not to be a line item in your financial plan. Jesus Christ. He stood up. This is exactly why I didn't show you yet. I knew you'd get emotional about it. It's just planning. It's being responsible. Would you rather I didn't think about our future? I asked him what happened if I didn't quit. If I wanted to keep working. He got quiet. Then he said, we've already talked about this. We agreed. We discussed it. I didn't agree to anything. So you're just going to keep working 60 hours a week? Never be home? That's not fair to me. That's not what a partnership looks like. I told him I needed time to think. He said I was overreacting to a fucking spreadsheet. I started calling out sick from work the next day. Not because I was quitting. Because I needed to figure out what the hell I was doing with my life. Friday, his HR department sent me an email. Benefits enrollment. Apparently he'd added me to his insurance plan as a spouse-to-be. There was a checklist. Employment status verification. A form asking if I was voluntarily terminating my current employment. He'd already started the paperwork. I sat with that email open for 2 hours. Then I replied. Declined the insurance. Attached 3 screenshots from his spreadsheet. Wrote, I will not be terminating my employment or requiring dependent coverage. Please see attached context for why I'm declining enrollment at this time. I sent it to the HR benefits coordinator. Ceased his direct supervisor. Then I went to stay with my sister. He called me 16 times that night. I didn't answer. Finally he texted, what the fuck did you do? My boss wants to meet with me Monday. You sent my personal files to my workplace. Do you understand how insane that is? I texted back, do you understand that you were planning my financial dependence without my consent? He showed up at my sister's apartment Sunday morning. She wouldn't let him in. He stood in the hallway yelling about how I'd humiliated him. How his co-workers were asking questions. How HR was concerned about his judgment. My sister told him to leave or she'd call the cops. Monday he started texting mutual friends. Telling them I'd resigned from my job to focus on wedding planning and was having a breakdown about cold feet. That he was trying to be supportive but I'd gone scorched earth over normal relationship planning. Our friends started messaging me asking if I was okay. If I needed anything. If the wedding was off. I sent them the screenshots too. Tuesday his mother called me. Crying. Asking me what happened. Saying her son was devastated and didn't understand what he'd done wrong. That he was just trying to be a good provider. I asked her if she'd seen the spreadsheet. She said yes. He'd shown her. She said it seemed like normal financial planning for a marriage. I asked if she thought $1,200 a month was reasonable for a grown woman's entire existence. She got quiet. Then she said, well, you wouldn't have the same expenses if you weren't working. I hung up. Wednesday he sent me an email. Long. Detailed. Explaining that he'd been trying to optimize our household and that maybe he'd been too analytical but his intentions were good. That he loved me. That he wanted to fix this. The email had an attachment. A revised spreadsheet. I was now allocated $2,000 monthly. With a note, adjusted for your concerns. Like that was the problem. The amount. Thursday I returned the ring to his apartment while he was at work. Left it on the kitchen counter with a note, I'm not a dependent expense. I'm a person. We're done. He's been telling everyone I had a breakdown. That I quit my job and then freaked out when he tried to help. That I'm unstable and he dodged a bullet. His friends believe him. Half our mutual friends believe him. My sister says I did the right thing. My best friend says forwarding the spreadsheet to his work was nuclear but justified. But I keep thinking about his face when he called it just planning. How genuinely confused he seemed that I was upset. Like he really thought he was helping. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I a butthole? His boss called him into a meeting on Friday and put him on administrative leave. I found out because he showed up at my work. Actually showed up. Walked right past reception into the open office area asking which desk was mine. Security had to escort him out while he was shouting about how I'd ruined his career over a misunderstanding. My manager pulled me into a conference room. Asked if I was safe. If I needed help. I had to explain the whole thing while my coworkers pretended not to stare through the glass walls. I filed for a restraining order that afternoon. The lawyer I consulted said what he did, showing up at my workplace after I'd explicitly ended contact, was enough. The hearing is in 2 weeks. His mother has been calling my parents. Apparently I destroyed her son's reputation and she wants them to talk sense into me. My dad told her if she contacted our family again he'd handle it legally. My mom just keeps asking if I'm eating enough. The wedding venue won't refund the deposit. $14,000 gone because I'm the one who canceled. My ex is telling people he offered to let me keep it, plan a healing retreat or something. That's a lie. He sent me a Venmo request for half the deposit with the note your choice, your cost. I didn't pay it. His friends started a group chat without me but including people I thought were my friends too. Someone screenshotted it and sent it to me. They were calling me a psycho career woman who couldn't handle a man taking charge, said I weaponized his workplace against him. One guy wrote she probably wanted to keep working so she could cheat, classic projection. I've lost 6 friends over this. People I've known for years. They either believe his version or think I went too far with the HR email. Work has been horrible. Not because of my manager, she's been great. But everyone knows now. The security incident made it office gossip. People keep asking if I'm okay in this voice like I'm broken. Or they avoid me completely like drama is contagious. I had to tell my boss I might need time off for court. She asked what for. I said restraining order hearing. She just nodded and said to take whatever I needed. I've been sleeping on my sister's couch for 3 weeks now. All my stuff is still at the apartment we shared. His apartment technically, his name on the lease. I'm scared to go back even with people there to help me move. My ex has been posting on social media. Not about me directly. Just stuff like when you try to build a future with someone and they sabotage it because they can't accept love and some people would rather be right than be happy. His comments are full of people supporting him. Telling him he dodged a bullet. Calling me crazy without using my name. I reported the post to the platform. Nothing happened. Apparently it doesn't violate community standards. Yesterday his sister messaged me. We'd actually been close. She said she felt like she had to choose sides and she chose her brother but she wanted me to know the spreadsheet thing was really messed up and she was sorry I was going through this. Then she blocked me. That one actually hurt. The thing that keeps getting me is how he's managed to flip this. He's the victim now. The guy whose girlfriend went nuclear over financial planning. Who lost his job, or might lose it, I don't actually know his status, because his crazy ex couldn't handle a spreadsheet. Never mind that he tried to engineer my financial dependence without consent. Never mind the lying to friends. Never mind showing up at my workplace. He's got people convinced I'm the villain. My therapist, I started seeing one last week, says this is called DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She says abusers do it instinctively. I don't know if I'm ready to call him an abuser but the pattern fits. I've started apartment hunting. My sister says I can stay as long as I need but I can't live on her couch forever. Everything in my price range is either a shoebox or an hour commute. I didn't realize how much I was splitting costs until now. My savings account has the ring money at least. I sold it. A jeweler gave me 60% of what he paid. It felt dirty, but I needed the cash. He found out somehow. Sent me a text calling me a thief. Said the ring was a family heirloom, which is a lie. I was there when he bought it. Told me he'd sue me for it. My lawyer said he can try. Also said it would go nowhere. The ring was a gift, it's mine to do with as I please. I'm waiting for the lawsuit anyway. He seems petty enough. My parents want me to move back home. They live 4 hours away. I'd have to quit my job, the job I apparently destroyed my relationship to keep. Start over completely. I'm thinking about it. Not because I want to. Because I'm tired. Because every day feels like fighting just to exist in the same city as him. Because I don't know how many more times I can explain to people why I'm not the bad guy here. His HR investigation wrapped up. I don't know the results, but he's back at work. Someone who still talks to both of us said he has to do professionalism training. That's it. Training. For planning to financially trap his partner and then harassing her at her workplace. Meanwhile, I can't go to the grocery store without checking if his car is in the parking lot. I thought ending the relationship would be the hard part. Turns out living with the aftermath is worse. The restraining order got denied. The judge said showing up at my workplace once didn't establish a pattern of harassment. Said the texts and social media posts were emotional responses to a breakup and not threats. Told me I could refile if his behavior escalated, but right now there wasn't enough evidence of imminent danger. I sat in that courtroom and listened to my ex's lawyer paint me as a vindictive ex who couldn't handle rejection. Watched the judge nod along. Walked out with nothing. He was waiting outside the courthouse. Not close enough to violate anything, just standing by his car in the parking lot. Watching me. He didn't say anything. Just stood there with his arms crossed until I got in my sister's car and we drove away. That was 11 days ago. Since then he's driven past my sister's apartment 4 times that I've seen. Maybe more when I'm at work. He doesn't stop. Doesn't slow down obviously. Just happens to be in her neighborhood despite living 20 minutes in the opposite direction. My sister wants to call the police. I told her what's the point. He's on a public road. He's not doing anything illegal. The cops will show up, talk to him, he'll say he was visiting a friend nearby or some bullshit, and they'll leave. I started looking at apartments in other cities. Different state even. My boss said I could potentially transfer to the satellite office in another region, but it would mean a pay cut and starting over on the team hierarchy. I'm actually considering it. My parents drove down last weekend. Took me to dinner. Spent 2 hours trying to convince me to move home. My dad kept saying just for a few months, until this blows over like my ex is a thunderstorm that'll pass if I wait it out. My mom cried. Said she can't sleep knowing I'm going through this alone. That she wants me somewhere safe. I told them I'd think about it. What I didn't tell them is that 3 of my credit cards got flagged for fraud attempts last week. Someone tried to open new accounts using my information. The credit bureau said it was likely someone who had access to my social security number and previous addresses. I know it was him. I can't prove it, but I know. I froze my credit. Changed all my passwords. Set up alerts on everything. It's not enough. He had access to everything for 2 years. He knows my mother's maiden name, my first pet, my elementary school. All the security questions are useless. Work found out about the fraud attempts because it triggered something in their background check system. HR called me in again. Asked if I felt safe. If I needed resources. Gave me a packet about domestic violence that made my skin crawl because that's not what this is, right? Except the packet described financial abuse. Described controlling behavior. Described isolation from friends and family. Described exactly what he tried to do with that spreadsheet. I threw the packet away. Then I dug it out of the trash that night and read it cover to cover. His professionalism training at work finished. I know because mutual friends, the ones who still talk to me occasionally, said he's been telling people he learned a lot about communication in the workplace and that the whole thing was a valuable growth experience. He's spinning it. Making himself the protagonist in a story about professional development. Meanwhile, I'm checking my bank account every morning to make sure nothing's been drained. The wedding venue sent me the collections for the deposit. $7,000 I apparently owe them despite never signing the cancellation paperwork. My ex signed it. Forged my signature. I've got a lawyer looking into it, but she says it might be cheaper to just pay it than fight it in court. I'm drowning in legal fees I can't afford for battles I can't win. My sister came home yesterday and found a package on her doorstep. No return address. Inside was every gift I'd ever given my ex over 2 years. Birthday presents. Christmas gifts. A watch I'd saved for months to buy him. All of it in a box with a note that said, "Since you wanted everything back." I never asked for anything back. I left almost everything at his apartment when I moved out. Clothes, books, kitchen stuff I bought. Didn't want any of it. But he sent this. Wanted me to know he could find my sister's address. Could leave things at her door. She wants to move. Get a new place he doesn't know about. I told her I'd move out instead. She said absolutely not. We fought about it for an hour. I've been on her couch for 5 weeks now. Paying her rent but still. 5 weeks of my life in a duffel bag. Some of my old friends reached out finally. Not to apologize. To ask if I'd considered his perspective and whether I was open to mediation because this has gone on long enough. I blocked them. My therapist asked me what I need to feel safe again. I didn't have an answer. I don't know what safety looks like anymore. It's not a restraining order, those don't work. It's not moving, he'll find me. It's not legal action, I can't afford it. It's nothing. There's no move I can make that fixes this. Last night I looked up the satellite office transfer again. Read through the whole package. It's across the country. Smaller city. I don't know anyone there. I'd be starting from scratch completely. My boss said I have until the end of the month to decide. I'm going to take it. I haven't told anyone yet, but I'm going to take it. Because yesterday I saw him at the coffee shop near my work. Just sitting there. Laptop open. Like he just happened to be working remote at the exact place I get coffee every morning. He smiled at me. Waved. I turned around and left. I can't do this anymore. Can't live like this. Can't spend every day wondering when I'll see him next or what he'll do or how he'll make it look innocent. So I'm leaving. Leaving the city, the job I fought to keep, my sister, my parents 4 hours away who I'll now be 15 hours from. He wins. That's what this is. He doesn't get me back but he gets me gone and that's close enough. My sister doesn't know yet. When I tell her she'll try to talk me out of it. Tell me I shouldn't have to run. That this is my city too. All the things I've been telling myself. But the truth is I'm tired. I'm scared. I'm done pretending I'm strong enough to fight this. The transfer paperwork is on my laptop. I just have to sign it. I probably will tomorrow. I didn't sign the transfer paperwork. I was going to. Had it pulled up on my laptop, cursor hovering over the signature field. Then my phone rang. It was HR from his company. Not his HR rep, someone higher up. She asked if I had time to come in for a conversation. Said it was important and they'd prefer to do it in person. I almost said no. Almost told them I was done with anything involving him. But something in her voice made me agree. I met her yesterday at a coffee shop halfway between our offices. She brought another woman, introduced her as their legal counsel. That's when I knew this wasn't about benefits enrollment or workplace safety protocols. They wanted to know if I'd be willing to make a formal statement about the spreadsheet and his behavior following our breakup. Apparently I wasn't the first person to complain about him. A woman he dated 4 years ago, before me, had filed an internal complaint when they broke up. He'd accessed her personnel file without authorization, showed up at a company event she was attending with a new partner, sent emails to her work address after she blocked his personal accounts. The complaint went nowhere because she left the company 2 months later and dropped it. They only found it because my HR email made them dig into his file. Then, after they started looking, 2 other women came forward. Co-workers. One he'd dated briefly, one he'd just asked out who rejected him. Both had stories about boundary violations, financial comments that made them uncomfortable, controlling behavior disguised as concern. The lawyer slid a folder across the table. Asked if I'd review it and see if anything matched my experience. I read it in the coffee shop while they waited. Felt my hands start shaking halfway through the second page. He had a pattern. The spreadsheet wasn't some weird one-off financial anxiety thing. It was what he did. Got women to trust him, mapped out their financial dependence, then got angry when they resisted. The woman from 4 years ago said he'd made her a budget too. Called it a gift. Got upset when she didn't follow it. I asked what they wanted from me. They said they were building a case for termination but it would be stronger with my cooperation. They'd need documentation, timeline of events, my statement about the workplace incident. Said they understood if I wasn't comfortable but they wanted me to know I wasn't alone in this. I left with the folder. Told them I'd think about it. My sister found me on the couch last night reading through everything again. Asked what it was. I told her. She said I should do it. Said he deserves to lose his job. That maybe if there are consequences he'll finally back off. But here's the thing. If I do this, if I cooperate with their investigation, he'll know. He'll know I'm the reason he got fired. And I don't know what he'll do with that information. The restraining order failed. The police won't help. If I take his job, make him lose the career he's so proud of, what's left to stop him? My therapist said I can't make decisions based on fear of what he might do. That I can't let him control my choices even now. But she's not the one who has to live with those choices. I was up until 3 in the morning going through scenarios. If I help them and he gets fired, does he escalate? Does he have more time to follow me, harass me, make my life hell? Or does losing everything make him finally move on? If I don't help them and he keeps his job, does he do this to someone else? Does the next woman end up worse off because I was too scared to speak up? There's no good answer. This morning I got an email from the apartment complex I applied to across town. Said my application was denied due to negative references from my current landlord. I don't have a current landlord. I've been on my sister's couch. I called them. They said they'd received a call from someone claiming to be my previous landlord stating I'd caused property damage and left without paying rent. They wouldn't tell me who called or what number they used. I know it was him. He's systematically destroying every option I have to leave. My sister wants to file a police report about the fraudulent landlord reference. I told her the same thing I've said every time. They won't do anything. He'll say it's a misunderstanding. There's no proof. I've been calling apartments all day. Every single one I applied to has either denied me or hasn't responded. My credit is frozen so he can't touch that, but he's found another way. The transfer paperwork is still sitting unsigned on my laptop. I called my boss. Asked if the position was still available. She said yes, but they need an answer by Friday. That's 3 days. 3 days to decide if I'm running away or staying to fight. The HR folder is on my kitchen table. My sister keeps looking at it. Hasn't said anything, but I know what she's thinking. I got another package today. Left at my sister's door again. This time it was printed copies of text messages between me and my ex. Ones where I said I loved him, that I couldn't wait to marry him, all the normal things you say in a relationship. Each one highlighted with a sticky note. Remember this? You said forever. Liar. He's reminding me he has 2 years of my life documented. 2 years of messages, photos, moments he can twist however he wants. My sister found me sitting on the floor reading them. She took the whole stack and threw it in the dumpster outside. Said he's trying to break me down and I can't let him win. But what does winning even look like anymore? I'm supposed to decide about the HR investigation by Monday. The transfer by Friday. The new apartment applications are dead ends. My credit cards are still frozen. I'm living out of a duffel bag. Every choice I make feels like it leads somewhere worse. Tonight I'm going to read through that folder again. Look at what those other women said. See if their stories end differently than mine is heading. Maybe there's something in there that shows me what to do. Or maybe I'm just stalling because I already know what I have to do and I'm terrified of what happens next. I gave HR everything they asked for. Sat down with their lawyer and legal team last Thursday and walked them through the entire timeline. Showed them the spreadsheet screenshots, the texts after the breakup, the fraudulent landlord calls, the packages at my sister's door. Everything. They recorded my statement. Had me sign it. The lawyer said they had enough now to move forward with termination proceedings. Said it would take about 2 weeks to finalize, but they were confident. I asked what would happen if he retaliated. She said they'd document it, that it would strengthen any future legal action I might need to take, but she couldn't promise he wouldn't try something. I left that meeting and went straight to my boss. Turned down the transfer. Told her I was staying. The termination happened faster than they said. 6 days later he was walked out of the building with his personal items in a box. I know because one of the co-workers who'd filed a complaint sent me a message. Said she watched it happen. Said thank you. I didn't feel relief. I felt terror. He knows it was me. Has to know. And for 3 days nothing happened. No texts. No calls. No packages. No drive-bys. Then yesterday my sister called me at work. Her voice shaking. Said someone had slashed 2 of her tires overnight. Both drivers sighed. Done with something sharp enough to be clean cuts, not punctures. The police came. Took a report. Said without cameras or witnesses there's nothing they can do. Asked if we had any enemies. My sister looked at me and I saw it in her face. The regret. She didn't sign up for this. I'm moving out this weekend. Found a sublet across town, month to month, furnished. It's expensive and small, but the building has security cameras and a doorman. My sister tried to argue, but I told her I can't put her at risk anymore. She cried. Said this isn't fair. That I shouldn't have to keep running. But I'm not running anymore. I'm just trying to survive in the same city as someone who wants to punish me for existing. The woman from 4 years ago, the first one who complained, reached out through HR. Asked if I wanted to meet for coffee. I said yes. We met yesterday afternoon. She's married now. Has a kid. Moved to a different industry entirely after she left his company. She told me it took her a year to stop checking over her shoulder. 2 years before she could date again without panicking. She said seeing him finally face consequences felt like someone believing her for the first time. I asked if he ever stopped. If he eventually moved on from harassing her. She said yes. After about 8 months. But only because she'd moved states and changed her number and scrubbed her social media. She had to make herself disappear. I'm not disappearing. I have a job I fought to keep. A city I've lived in for 6 years. A life that was mine before him. But I'm also sleeping 3 hours a night. Checking my car for tracking devices. Taking different routes to work every day. My therapist asked me what healing looks like from here. I don't know. I know what survival looks like. Cameras. Witnesses. Documentation. Never being alone in parking lots. Always telling someone where I'm going. The apartment complex that denied me called back. Said they'd received new information and wanted to reconsider my application. I told them I'd already found somewhere else. Didn't tell them the new place costs twice as much. My parents drove down again this weekend. Helped me move my stuff from my sister's couch to the new apartment. My dad installed extra locks. My mom stocked my fridge and pretended not to cry while doing it. They asked me one more time to come home. I said no. Because here's what I've learned. Geography doesn't fix this. He found me at my sister's. He'd find me at my parents'. Moving states might buy me time, but it wouldn't buy me peace. Peace isn't a place. It's knowing I didn't let him win. He lost his job. Lost his reputation at that company. Has 4 women on record saying he's dangerous. That's not nothing. But he still has my social security number. Still knows where I work. Still exists in the same city breathing the same air. The lawyer from his company said if he violates the terms of his termination agreement, which includes a no-contact clause, they'll pursue legal action. Said I should keep documenting everything. I have a folder now. 3 inches thick. Screenshots, police reports, witness statements, photos of the slashed tires, copies of the fraudulent packages. My lawyer says it might be enough for a restraining order if he does anything else. Might be. I'm paying $700 more a month for an apartment with a doorman. I've spent $3,000 on legal fees. I sold my engagement ring for money I've already burned through on security measures and moving costs. The wedding venue is still demanding $7,000. I'm letting it go to collections. My credit can survive it. Last night I updated all my beneficiaries. Changed my emergency contacts. Wrote down passwords to everything and left them with my sister in a sealed envelope just in case. Just in case. That's where I live now. In the just in case. My sister asked me if I regret sending that first HR email. If I'd do it differently knowing what I know now. I told her no. Because at least other women are safe from him at that company. At least there's a record. At least someone believed us. But some nights I lie awake in my expensive secure apartment and wonder what my life would look like if I just quit my job like he wanted. If I'd become that dependent expense on his spreadsheet. If I'd married him. I'd be trapped but I'd be safe from this specific nightmare. I'd be controlled but the tires wouldn't be slashed. Then I remember the other women. The pattern. How it escalates. I'd have ended up here anyway. Just with less money and fewer options. So I'm here. In an apartment that doesn't feel like home. At a job where everyone knows my business. In a city that feels smaller every day. But I'm still here. Still working. Still free. He wanted me dependent. Wanted me small. Wanted me grateful for whatever he decided to give me. Instead I'm documenting everything. Building cases. Making sure every woman who comes after me has a trail to follow. That has to mean something. Even if I'm checking my rearview mirror every 30 seconds. Even if I haven't slept through the night in 2 months. Even if my hands shake when my phone buzzes. I'm still here. And he's the one who lost his job.